Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of my McLaren Return to Glory, and today we are here for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, the final European race of the season. Now then, before we jump into it guys, check out the last race at Spa. It's been a pretty insane week overall. The uploads have been coming out thick and fast for career mode, 4 in a row. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it, but yeah, big spoiler warning ahead guys, absolutely massive. So if you haven't clicked off now or seen the last episode, go watch it, link in the top right. But yeah, here we go then. We're going to jump into the business here in this one. So first things first is upgrades, and we're going to purchase the final aerodynamic upgrade, which is going to max out that part of the car, and we're going to get that on the car hopefully over the next couple of weeks. Now we jump into a season break, so before we continue, we're going to quickly go for a brief 30-second recap of our season so far. Now, we've won the last 2 races, which has got us back in the mix for the Drivers' Championship. We're crucially, though, aiming for the Constructors, which we're still a long way away, and that's because of Lando this season. He has dropped the ball. At this point last year, he'd won 2 or 3 races, I think it was 2 races, and he hasn't really had that same form this season, only 1 podium, and you know, admittedly the car hasn't been that great. Since we introduced the B-Spec in England, we have had a better run of it lately. So yeah, we also get confirmation of the final chassis upgrade, which is going to max out that part of the car now. So the master cylinder is on the car, and that maxes out the brakes, the chassis, and that part of the car is at its full potential, and the aero won't be too far behind in the next couple of weeks. Now, retirement from Hulkenberg. He will be leaving Formula 1 at the end of the season. We then get also confirmation of a reg change coming up for season 4 if it were to continue to season 4, depending on if we win the championship or not. So we'll see what happens there. Either way, the forecast this weekend is dry, so no rain, a nice, smooth, straightforward weekend for the first time in a couple of weeks. And yeah, as we look at the performance chart, we are clearly the best team on the grid. We are far and beyond, although Ferrari and Alpine bring some upgrades of their own, Aston Martin as well, but Ferrari and crucially Alpine bring in a pretty big upgrade package for this weekend's race. So we'll see how that affects things moving forward. Either way guys, that's it for the admin work. Let's get into the weekend, let's get into practice, and let's see what's new. So on track with, of course, the new brake upgrade. I've actually had to reduce my brake pressure to 95 because I just could not stop locking up on 100. It was literally impossible to brake late and not lock up. So a bit of a brake tweak for that one. So bear that in mind for your own career modes, guys. If you're going to max out the brakes, you may have to just reduce the pressure a bit on the brakes. Now, as you can see, tyre wear very good at Monza. Fuel consumption surprisingly low as well, which was a big surprise. So we'll factor that in terms of the setup for the race. For now though, we're going to go ahead and change the 2 components we haven't changed yet, the energy store and the control electronics. We only get 2 of those all season. We have 6 races remaining, so now is the time to switch those out and get them on the car. And we've still got plenty of other components elsewhere to kind of, you know, run with if we want to have a fresh engine at all times. So job done. We look at the final practice score along with also discounts and developments. At this point, the discounts are a bit irrelevant as we have pretty much finished all the upgrades. All we have left is that fuel flow regulator, which is the last upgrade I believe on the engine, and then we're pretty much there. So I think we're actually going to arrive to the final race with a fully maxed out car, which is really awesome. So we're going to get to see how fast these cars really are. Either way, now time for qualifying. We're going to get to work and see what we can come up with in this one. I will admit, it's not looking as good as it has done the last couple of races in practice. It seems like Red Bull are super strong. This track, the AI just seems to be on steroids in the middle sector, where the corners are basically. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe we can affect things. I've actually loaded up a lot of wing heading into qualifying, so making a change on the setup. It felt good in practice, but it wasn't fast, so I had to basically take action and, you know, readjust. So we're going to go ahead and actually put a load of wing back on the car. Now we invalidate our first timed lap. Now we're going for a second attempt. This was a back-to-back, no break in between, because the ERS doesn't really burn too much here, and also fuel's relatively high. Also tyre wear is pretty low and temps are pretty low. So we're going for 2 consecutive back-to-back laps, and we're going to close out our first proper time lap with a 16.2 and P12. At this point, I actually was going to pit, but I took a cool down lap and saw that we still had a bit of tyres and performance left over, so I'm going to try and push for one more. And you can see here we were up by 2 tenths, but we lost a bit of it through the second Lesmo. Through the final corner though, we make some of that time back up, and we're going to improve by another tenth or so and shave off a little bit more time as we dip to a 16.0 and go P11. So yeah, job done for us in Q1 and P12. We get through comfortably by a couple of attempts. And yeah, we are lacking a bit of pace, a full second off the pace from Verstappen and Norris up front. So into Q2, one thing you'll notice, especially in qualifying, the rev limiter maxes out on the pit straight and the back straight, the two DRS zones. That's how fast these cars are now. So across the line, our first time lap is a PB. It's a 15.9, which is pretty decent to be fair. It improves our Q1 lap by a tenth, and that is more or less what I felt like was the maximum. But then I went for another lap. I took a cool down lap in between. I went for a second attempt, and we absolutely smashed the Ascari chicane. We nailed it perfectly. Got the line absolutely spot on, carried the speed, and now into Parabolica, braking at the 50. A little bit wide of the apex, but not terrible. We keep the car nice and tight and also bring it in on the exit. So we're going to improve and actually jump into a mid-6, which is awesome. So P7, and that was a really good lap, at which point we actually got floor damage from bumping over the curbs at the Ascari chicane. Although you can see we're safe by about half a second to 6/10, so I'm actually not going to go back out because there's no need. We're looking okay. And to be fair, I was actually caught out. Others did improve, but there is one surprise. Sergio Perez knocked out P11, which is massive for the Constructors' Championship. So Red Bull are down a car and Perez is down the order, so that is huge. Anyway, into Q3, currently on a fresh set of tyres, as we have 2 fresh sets available, and we'll look to hopefully improve and go even faster. Now, this is my first time trying to get a bit of a tow from Verstappen in front of us here as we run up to the line, and it's going to be a 1:15.4, so a personal best again. And I'll be honest, that was a very good lap, pretty much perfect. Not really too sure where to shave off some time, but job done, very good lap, and we're going to try one more send, although we're currently P9 and a bit of a way back. Now we're going to get a bit of a tow from Ocon here, I believe, on the pit straight to start off our final lap, which is going to be awesome, but we're maxing out the limiter. You can hear the car has nothing more to give into the chicane, the first one, trying to make sure we get the exit, but we have a bit of oversteer and just lose the back end, slide around, and we drop 3/4 of a tenth, which is not the best way to start a lap. So we are going to have to completely send it in this middle sector to try and get the time back. We brake super late into the Roger chicane, and we actually do claw back some of that time. Now into the Lesmos, taking a couple of downshifts and a quick short shift back to 6th on the exit, and we now have recovered the deficit. We missed the apex through Lesmo 2, which is not really going to cost us or gain us time, although had we got the apex, it probably would have given us a little bit more lap time. Either way, into the Ascari chicane, down 3/10 on Russell in P6. Didn't really get enough inside curb through the left, and as a result of that, my remaining chicane was compromised as we had to take a bit of a narrow line all the way through. Making our way then down to the final corner, all or nothing, make or break in terms of the lap here at the 50. A little bit wide of the apex again there. We're going to try and bring the car back down for a tight exit, but it's not going to be enough, and we are not going to improve. So qualifying done, and to my surprise, I was actually a million miles away, literally half a second off the next car, which, yeah, forget it. Literally, I don't have that pace. The AI was so quick. Verstappen on pole. Lando and Sainz ran him close. Lando with a very strong lap in P2. And yeah, we'll see how that affects things in the race. If Verstappen get a bad start, that would be awesome. If Lando could get a good one, that would also be pretty good. Either way, we're going to start P9. Our starts have been good lately, so we're going to need another one to hopefully get us in the mix and get to that top 5. So yeah, guys, qualifying done. Let's get into the main event and let's see what happens.
Welcome to the home of the Parabolica, now known as the Curva Alboreto, in tribute to the Italian motorsport legend Michele Alboreto. It's a long right-hander. It dares you to keep your foot as far down on the throttle as you possibly can. It's one of the great corners on the calendar, and we're here at Monza, ahead of the Italian Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Gasly, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Martinez, Drugovic, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Sonoda, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Joe, and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Right, here we go. Time for the Italian Grand Prix and the last European race of the season. So, P9 is going to be our starting place for this one, and we have work to do. I'm not going to lie, work to be done, but we are not a million miles off, and lately our race starts have been insane. Also, the AI have been pretty poor, so we're actually making up a lot of progress off the start alone. So hopefully we can do that one more time here today. So strategy for this one is going to be fairly simple. I'm actually going to leave options open. So first things first is fuel. I'm going to run 42.5 kg, which is actually quite low, but that's what I had in practice. I'm going to go for the medium to start with, and I may change my strategy depending on how tyre wear is and pace, and just see how things go. I may stretch it and go for a soft rather than a hard tyre. So yeah, either way, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun race. I don't think we have a fresh soft, but even still, a used tyre should be fine. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's try and basically gain as many places as possible and try to limit the damage to Red Bull, which I'm hoping we can, stop them somehow from winning this race, because they just seem so damn strong. Here we go then. Let's get to it. Perfect revs. Away we go. Oh, it's a brilliant start. Can we get on the inside? Racing down turn one. Gonna switch to the outside. Oh my god, trying to avoid contact. Trying to be aggressive though. Good traction. We get Ocon there. Verstappen holds onto the lead. Norris holds onto P2. And Leclerc P3. So P6 for us. Gaining 3 places. We'll take that. That's good enough for me. Gonna run the brake bias a bit more to the front just for this initial phase until I get comfortable, then we can move to the rear. But let's see how we hold up. I'm very concerned about the Lesmos. I'm putting on a lot more wing than what I started the weekend with. I just hope it doesn't hurt us in the straight, but it seems like we might be under some pressure. Ocon looking, we're going to just gradually move across there and get back on the racing line. I think we're going to be struggling around here. I think it'll get better once DRS is enabled. Norris and Verstappen are broken away, so hopefully they battle amongst themselves. We've got Sainz and Leclerc going at it up ahead here, so that's going to keep us in play. But yeah, hopefully, as we run out of energy, we can stay in the fight. I'm going to try and fight back here with Ocon, not give this one up just yet. 3 wide up ahead. A little bit cautious here, but we're going to try to find a space. This is what I mean though, this race is key. The AI are very, very, let's say, stupid in wheel-to-wheel combat around here. So if you're intelligent, you can actually make more progress. So we're just going to try and pick our battles wisely. And then also, it's important to time it when you choose to try and break away from the train, which is also another key factor here, trying to break DRS. Lando is leading the race, which is a good start. We'll see if he can match up with Verstappen. Hopefully with the slipstream and the DRS, he should be able to keep up. But yeah, for us, we're going to try and see if we can get this P3, which is possible already. We're holding our own on the straights, so we should hopefully get better as the race goes on. Leclerc's making a break for it here, so that would be a good car to follow as Ocon pulls out for a move, and now Sainz on Russell. We're going to hold our own once again. Leaving space, but Ocon backs out. So we'll take the race in line. And Lando's setting the pace as now Verstappen re-overtakes him.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Was going to go for it there, but at the last second, Russell went defensive. Going to set up the switch back out of the chicane. Boxed in right now, nowhere to go. Just got to wait and choose the better line. There we go. We'll follow Russell through here. So we're boxing again. On the outside of Sainz. Lovely. Right, come on then. Let's get Russell and then get onto Leclerc. Oh, that's a lot of unders here though. Verstappen 17.6. Leclerc responds. Right then, so Sainz tries to go for the move, and now we're going to get the overspeed. We're going to max out the limiter here. We're going to try and cut to the outside on Russell. Get the inside through there. I don't know if we'll have the pace to break away. Leclerc seems very quick, but we'll try and make a run for it. Lando and Verstappen looks like they could be on soft tyres, so that would explain their early pace. So Leclerc is actually really fast. Okay, no, Verstappen's on medium. Right then, so Max is really quick then. So Lando doing this job on the soft tyres. Hopefully Verstappen goes for a hard tyre in the next stint and Lando goes for a medium. That would be pretty sweet. We're going to be under pressure here from Russell. I'm not going to have an answer as we make our way up Parabolica. I am trying to push, but Leclerc is really, really fast, by the way. Extremely fast. And there you go, Alonso's pace confirms it. We're stuck in this battle right now. Ocon back through. We'll hold the line though on the inside of turn 2. Just need to try and time, you know, pulling away here. Ideally, Leclerc joins that battle for the lead and all three of them lose time up front. Ocon looking. Going to leave the braking late and just go around the outside. Oh, Russell. Maybe a bit of contact there with Sainz. If there was ever a time for a Verstappen DNF, it would be now when I'm speaking into existence. Breaking up the limiter there. Got to be very careful here. The front wing is a valuable asset which I do not want to lose, as we have some contact there with Sainz, who just drifted a bit wide. I wouldn't mind see if I can break away the Russell or something and see if we can work together, but there's too many cars in this scrap right now. Verstappen's broken DRS on Norris. She's absolutely flying.
Okay, the incident's been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed. Come on.
Yellow flag behind. Is there yellow? I can't tell. I don't think there is. Bit of a ghost yellow flag there. Sainz closing, but he's going to run out of straight. So Leclerc now battling with Norris for P2. Mercedes seem very strong here. I mean, Russell can hold on by himself. I'm going to try and pass George and go for the break here and see if we can pull away. Personal best. There we go, keeping on the racing line. What we need is Sainz to lodge his nose up the inside of Russell and, you know, basically force a battle, force it too wide, and that will allow us to break away. I'll try and see if I can do it myself, but I'm not too confident. Oh, I've actually done it. I've had an insane lap, an insane first Lesmo. So we'll see if we can actually keep the gap now. Yep, we're gone. We are gone. Okay. So Russell now should battle with Sainz. Also, Sainz has broken away from other cars behind. So now the field's starting to spread out a bit. And we're starting to see some true pace. That goes for Lando Norris as well, who's dropping back. Alright, personal best. Whee, hey, little drift there. Don't mind that, a little bit of sideways. Sainz and Russell working together right now, and they're a bit quicker than me. They're catching back up. I'm also running a bit low on battery now. Still got enough pace to keep them out of range, but I'm not pulling away. I need them to battle to lose time, especially approaching the pit window. It would be nice if they were to scrap and lose a couple of seconds. Lando in the pits.
Lando's in the pits. Lando in the pits.
Also Sainz and Russell battling. Leclerc's actually really quick. He's matching Verstappen. He might be our only hope if Leclerc can win this. That might be a low-key decent favour for us and stopping Verstappen getting maximum points, because Perez isn't really in the equation right now, so if Verstappen could just not win this race, that would be great.
0.7.
Yellow flag.
Okay, clear.
Russell out the race.
Okay, we're boxing this lap. Give us the best in lap you can.
Sainz pits. Will there be a safety car or a VSC? Nope. That wouldn't be a bad thing to happen, to be fair. It would neutralise the race. Give us maybe a chance to get Verstappen.
Yellow flag.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay, safety car deployed. Safety car has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
Oh my god. I spoke it into existence and it happened. Oh my god. If we could win this race. Oh, why did Lando get in trouble? We could have had a 1-2 finish. Right, we're going to box this lap then and get the hard tyres on. It's game on. Now what we need to do between us is to try and beat Leclerc. First order of business, ideally, would be to break the train.
Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
So we've got to try and break the DRS train first and foremost. That's the most important thing around here. So if the three of us can break away, that would be nice. Hard tyres for us though. Could have gone soft, but at this stage, I'd rather just play it safe. I don't have a fresh soft, so we'll just go for what is safe and easy. So we're rejoining P3, which is wonderful. Lando on a fresh medium should be able to hopefully challenge Leclerc in the early stages. So let's see.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Wow, that's insane. Perez, to be fair, is P6, so he's got himself back into the race somewhat. But still, if we could get a 1-2 in this race with Verstappen out, this is our golden chance. We have to take this. Here we go then. Time for the restart. We know Norris's pace hasn't been great in race trim, but if there was a time for it to be good, it's now. It needs to be good. So, hopefully he can get Leclerc on the restart. We've got to try and break away. That's the key thing here. There we go. Good restart. We actually might challenge
Green flag.
Leclerc here. Oh my god, I had to get it right out of that. I was going to just rear end my teammate. Signs, forcing my hand. And Leclerc broke away. Lando's had a shocking first chicane. Right, we've got to try and catch back up. We cannot let Leclerc escape. He's been very quick all race. Oh, what a terrible restart. Really not ideal. And let's push on. Let's try and focus. This restart pace is insane so far. Really, really strong. Yellow flag behind. Pass. Oh my god, I think Sainz is out as well. Perez up to P4. Ooh, out of nowhere, he's now battling with Alonso. Let's see if they can scrap away into turn 1. This would be our breakaway, which is exactly what I want, to at least lock in a double podium, which would be ideal. Leclerc is absolutely flying, by the way. Absolutely flying, which is really bad news. Okay, so DRS will be enabled. Leclerc 17-0 flying.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
We need to try and get that extra point for the fastest lap of the race. Also, I'm hoping Perez can get swallowed up by the pack. Hopefully those mediums fall away. I feel like I'm faster than Lando Norris, but I can't pass him. Just that medium's pretty strong and still holding on in key areas. Leclerc's a million miles away, man, but he's just fast enough to keep edging away. I mean, he's got no DRS and he's still pulling, so he's just a bit quicker, unfortunately. I don't know if we're going to beat him this race, but if we can get this double podium, I will take it right now, as long as also Perez can maybe fall down the order a bit. Right now, he's battling with Alonso and everyone else behind, so long may it continue. Leclerc's going to win. We just don't have an answer. He's too quick. I'm struggling to pass Lando. I'm fast in certain areas, but on the straight, he's actually pretty quick. He's running a lower downforce setup than me, so I'm struggling to actually get him. I get on the limiter before I can catch him on the straight, so that makes it hard for me to catch. Okay, this time we're pretty close, so if I can just stay tight for the rest of the lap, keep it tidy, and have a good final corner, we'll be right there. This is the closest we've been, so we've got a full charge to burn and hopefully make work. So let's see. Those mediums are showing their first signs now that they're starting to let go. This is the closest we've been, so let's go for it. I don't want to cost Lando any time or ruin his race by any means. Straight through, there we go. Bouncing off the limiter. Right, let's push on then, and let's lock in this P2. I'll try and push for a fastest lap, but I'm not too sure if we've got the tyres left for that now, but I'll use all the battery in this one to burn. Oh, I don't know if I've got the tyres, man. That final corner let me down. I've got no deployment left. We're not even going to improve. Damn. I was 2 tenths up until the final sector. And look at this, Lando's actually now coming back towards me. Last lap of the race. Let's not be stupid about this. It's a double podium. Oh, what a horrible exit. Struggling there massively to get the power down. Alonso's broken away, signs his P5. Let's hope it finishes that way. I'm going to try and see if I can force Lando offline, but even my rears are starting to let go now. We'll try, but I'm not particularly great out of the second Lesmo.
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Nope. Lando's too strong. He's been actually pretty quick in this stint. I can't really fault him. Yeah, tyres are just not holding up for me now. Fair play, Lando. Fair play. Right, so Leclerc wins. And it'll be a double podium for us, which is still awesome. Perez up to P5 in the closing stages. Hopefully that's not where it finishes, but we'll take this. Much needed points.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
They made great use of the clear air today and didn't allow anyone to exploit the slipstream behind them. What a great win here at Monza. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take the top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So race done then, Charles Leclerc, the victor, and that was Charles Leclerc from the start of the season, who won the first 2 races. He's come back out of nowhere after the summer break and looks very strong. Lando improved, second place. Couldn't match Verstappen in the first stint. Verstappen is so damn quick. Like, I can't stress enough. One of the worst things that happened is Verstappen being picked as my rival for the season, which is making him even faster, which is really, really tough to beat. So, yeah, Alonso P4, Perez does bring home P5 and beats Carlos Sainz. So he does limit damage for Red Bull. So in the end, we only outscore Red Bull by 18 points, which is not ideal. Obviously, a 1-2 would have been ideal, and Perez maybe getting P6. But yeah, I can't complain. You know, I wanted Verstappen to retire, and that was a nice bit of luck to go our way. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to really balance or, shift the scales in our favour in the championship. But there is the rest of the top 10 and a confirmation at the very bottom of the big one, Verstappen out of the race, along with George Russell as well. Anyway, standings. So P3 for us in the drivers. We've now got a pretty healthy margin over Perez, and we're 38 off the top. Leclerc back in the mix with that win, and it's going to be a big fight between these two. They're a very similar pace today. Lando P6 also extends the gap over Sainz and is actually right behind Russell, so that DNF has really cost Russell badly. In the constructors, Red Bull lead, Mercedes cut the gap, and also we are currently 65 drifts, actually closer than I thought, but still just a bit far away. If we could have just got a 1-2, that would have been, a few extra points, and it makes a big difference in this scenario, especially with only, I think, 4 races to go. We could have really made a dent into Red Bull. I think if Checo had got P6 instead of P5, that's 2 points less for him, which would have been 63, and then if we had got the win and Lando got second or vice versa, it would have been an extra 10 points. So, you know, the gap could have been like 53 instead of 65, but it is what it is. No complaints. Either way, guys, we'll take it and we'll try and push on. So we're not giving up. The championship fight goes on to the next race, and hopefully we can turn it around. Like the video, subscribe for more daily F1 content, guys. As always, a big shout out to the members of the channel for supporting all the content I make. Finally, there's 2 videos on screen, guys. Check them out, give them a watch, let me know what you think. You might enjoy them. And yeah, cheers for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.